This is the story of the Hamilton Aviation Pilot Pioneer Chrono Quartz watch, a discontinued but readily available pilot's chronograph with 70s styling, modern convenience, and a price point that's easy on the wallet. I'm going to talk at length about why I think it's a perfect combination of compromises and why it's worth hunting down. As far as I know, it was released in 2020 as a companion piece to the smaller mechanical three-hander from 2019, which is very true to the original W10 supplied to the British Royal Air Force in 1973. It's a two-subdial quartz chrono that really leans into what I like to think of as asymmetrical symmetry. No, hear me out, I mean it. The case is asymmetrical and that it juts out to the right to protect the crown and pushers. The two subdials are rotated around to favor the left side and the Hamilton logo is on the right side. At first I thought, no, this lack of symmetry will make me want to change the design every time I look at it. But instead, I think Hamilton made some really smart decisions. They took the Swiss-made ETA G10 212 quartz chrono movement for its running seconds, 30-minute timer, and split timer, and made a large dial within the 41mm case that makes it easy to read all the information at a glance. I've had watches with two smaller subdials that are symmetrical, but quite often use a Seiko movement that has 24-hour time and second markers I can't read. With this dial, it's all there, as long as the light is right, but I'll get to that later. First, I'll show you how the split timer works. You start the large seconds timer with the top pusher. Then, when you want to make a note of the first split, you press the bottom pusher. Second hand stops, write down the time. Time is going. Press the bottom pusher again. The large second hand moves straight to where the timer was still running, and you can do it all over again and take as many split times as you like. Easy. When you're finished, stop it with the top pusher, reset with the bottom pusher. If you just want to time one event, start with the top pusher, stop with the top pusher, and reset with the bottom pusher. You get it. Easy peasy. Now let's take a look at it on my 18cm or 7-inch wrist. 41mm case, 22mm lugs, thickness of 12.47 versus the 14.35mm of the current Hamilton Pilot mechanical chrono. What this means for me is that it fits like a glove. Now the bracelet is really nicely made with perfect finishing and tolerances, so snugly does it fit that it's actually kind of difficult to get out. You need some practice. You'll figure it out, trust me. The clasp is a 2-button push release with some sort of unfinished scissors, which are kind of rough, but I think that's where they sensibly cut costs. You can't see it. And it clicks shut satisfyingly. Yeah, here you can see exactly how the bracelet integrates with the case. I'm not a fan of the polished center links generally, but they match the flow of the design. Here's the other part where they cheaped out on construction. It's the Caseback. It's a polished disc with some writing on it. That's it. It's a scratch magnet. It's a messy mirror. But what it means is that we have a chronograph that is not too thick. And we have 4 micro adjust holes instead of the usual 2 they have these days. Now, there's another case, pun intended, where working with the watch gets a little tricky. The NATO strap, the Hamilton branded NATO strap. You can see a little bit of leather reinforcement there. I'll dig into that in a second. But first, you can see there are 2 sets of lug holes, one for the bracelet and one for straps. Not sure why, but it's worth being aware of, mostly because you'll want to use the outer lug holes for straps, to give them a bit of breathing room. Now on top of that, the Hamilton NATO strap has some leather reinforcements, so you can't just slip it through. So what you have to do is get it into position and then put the spring bars in, which really helps if you have quick release ones. Now you can see one side, line it up on the bottom, and you have to do the other side as well. And then, voila! There it is in all its glory with its beautiful Hamilton branded hardware. And you can see how the leather reinforcement on the tip of the strap fits right in to the metal keeper perfectly. So there's nothing kind of extraneous hanging out like normal NATO straps. It just fits really nicely, at least on my wrist. But if you choose to put normal spring bars on, with a normal strap, you can slide it on just like this leather NATO I have from Watch Gecko. Not quite with a Marine Nationale. There's the similar kind of work putting that on where you have to get it in position and stick the spring bars on yourself. But this Marine Nationale is an awesome combination that ties in really well with the dial. Sorry to keep that off screen for so long. I was trying to build the suspense. Perfect. And here's another of my favorite combos, a Deluge style strap, which tapers nicely. The bright yellow works well with the hands, even if they don't match exactly. This is a closer match. We have an Artem straps, No Time to Die style strap. It could be an alternate universe where James Bond wore a Hamilton in the 70s. Now, I did say I was going to get around to this earlier. The subject of glare. You can see it in the studio. Under the lights, you can see it in the outdoors. Depending on the angle, you will get some glare. It's not a watch with anti-glare coating, so it's par for the course. But when you do see through the dial and its texture, you'll see it very clearly. Getting a RAF 6BB type Boltony watch secondhand locally was what pushed me down a rabbit hole filled with these types of watches, and I fell in love with them. The design was so well balanced and clean, the history was deep, but when it came to mechanicals, the price and thickness was what held me back. In a future video, I'll go into the details of how I bought this Hamilton from Japan using buyee.com and how that works from Australia. And also, expect another video on the Boltony. Meanwhile, I'll say it again, this particular Hamilton was the perfect combination of compromises that ended up being a winner on my wrist. Let me know what you think of it and any other similar watches, and keep an eye out for my future videos. Thanks for watching.